What's going on, Port fans? Welcome back to another video on the channel. Today we're going to be previewing round 7. It's Port Adelaide versus North Melbourne this Saturday at 3:45 at the Adelaide Oval. It's Anzac round. It's a very, very special round for many, many reasons, celebrating our past Anzacs and those who served for our country fighting, and for the current day as well, and making sure we pay our respects and making sure we honour those that have been doing it tough, and everything coincides with Anzac round on Anzac Day and the Anzac appeal. So it's going to be a special week this week, and one that I'm very much excited for. It's my favourite round of the year. Anzac round always brings something special, and whether it's the occasion, whether it's the game, and no matter what, it's always going to be great. And you kick things off Thursday night with Melbourne versus Richmond, and then Anzac Day with Collingwood Essendon, and obviously as well our game will be coinciding on the Saturday. So I'm very much keen to see. We've got North this week, so it's going to be an interesting challenge, and one I think we're definitely looking forward to playing. So I can't wait to get into this preview, and let's talk about how this may pan out. So, Port Adelaide versus North. This is going to be one of those games where you just sit here and go, well, we should win. And it's definitely one you'd put in the book, but it's just one of those guns you can just see happening, going, oh, this is just going to be ugly, or this is just not going to be the way it'll pan out. And I definitely don't think it'll be a smashing. Now, North have come off a pummeling against Carlton on Good Friday. They've also been pumped by Sydney a couple of weeks prior, and Gold Coast in Gather Round as well. It's a lot of big pumpings that they've had, and the scrutiny is definitely on them this week. So I definitely expect an outfit from North to come out and say, hey, no, we're actually still in a good phase. It's just been a couple of bumps in the road. Now, they're not good. I don't think they're good. I definitely overrated North when they bet Melbourne in that big win. And it's funny how footy pans out week to week, and we've seen that as well with us, with losing to Essendon and St Kilda, and St Kilda ever since have been pumped, and we're coming off with 2 big wins against Hawthorn and Sydney. So North, obviously, they've got some powerhouse players. We speak of Luke Davis-Uniacke. We know Cherry's a great ruckman. We know Larkey down forward, and Curtis and Zerha are powerful. Tom Power's a young gun. They've got Wardlaw who's come back from injury. They have some star power. Their defence is a bit weak with Core and Logue, and I think that's where they get best exposed, as we've seen. Once you put pressure on North and their defensive unit, they crumble very, very easily. So again, it's going to be something I think we focus on this week, and taking our opportunities. I do think that if we take our chances this week, it's as simple as kicking goals, and we'll win this game and win it comfortably. I'm tentative about Port still. I love the way we played against Hawthorn. I love the way we played against Sydney. The blueprint of both of those games was strangling the opposition, making sure they weren't playing free-flowing footy, weren't getting the switch on. They had to go through the contest, they had to win the footy, and they had to make sure that they countered what we were doing. And we saw for the most part against Sydney that the Swans couldn't do that. Hawthorn didn't come back at us until the second half, and even then they were just too far behind. And North are ones that, if they get strangled, if they get even a bit tentative going forward and they don't have that opportunity, then they will fall, and they fall quite easily. What entices me about North playing a good game this week is the backlash they've had over the last few weeks, and the question marks on them, and that for me really does just doesn't sit well with I know a Port Adelaide outfit that I just still can't trust yet. 3-3 in an okay position, I just can't trust. And when you lose games of footy like you did against the Saints at home, that's when it's like, right, well, this home crowd's going to be big. It's Anzac round. It's going to be a game where a lot of people take pride in coming. It's a long weekend. People play local footy. Some people will be playing on Good Friday, on Anzac Day on Friday, and they'll have the opportunity to go to this game. We haven't lost an Anzac round game since 2018. We pride ourselves on this game as well. This is one that we put to the AFL and request, and that takes a lot of pride. Wearing a special Guernsey this week with names on past Anzacs that served for our country, and obviously played for the Port Adelaide Football Club, or represented us. So it's a big moment. It's a game of footy that the club takes a lot of pride in. And that's where I expect us to come out and go, all right, well, we're going to put North to the sword again. They're going to be punished, and we're going to make sure that we take the job seriously. And, a 6-day break, and one that I think this is an important clash for Port. 4-3 looks so much better on paper with a gained a bit of percentage than what I would have thought would have been the case a couple of weeks ago. So, yeah, one that's very important. And North, whilst I think they'll come out strong, I think we just have too much star power. Selection is interesting this week. Now, I looked at the injury report and I saw that Ollie Wines has been, and this is the most important one because Ollie Wines is a player that's really led from the front. I think even in the games that we were average, he was always amongst it, always getting into the contested play. He was a leading disposal getter for the year. He's been important. Losing him in the second half was definitely something that we hurt a bit last week against the Swans. Getting him back at the contested beast. Him consulting with his doctors and the advisories there and saying that he's available for selection, will train as normal and see how he goes, but he'll be available for selection is really good. And he knows exactly where he stands on that issue and what he has. So I fully trust that. Same thing happened last year. He ended up playing the next week and there was no issues after that. So that is very, very important to note. And it's one that we can't sit here as critics and as fans and act like that we can predict this, because Ollie Wines, he knows best. He knows what the situation is, and I back it 100%. So very important to note. Brandon Zerktach is back from his back injury, so he most likely will play through the SANFL, and I would give him a couple of weeks before coming back into the AFL system, and he'll be a very, very big in for the game against, like, the showdown in particular with their big forwards. So really like that in. Burton is obviously on the mend as well. Lukosius is only a month away. Things start to brighten up when you start winning, isn't it? All right. It's just, okay, injuries starting to lessen, and very important key ins as well. So I'm interested to see how everything goes. But I like our structure at the moment. I think it's really really sound. So I don't expect a change this week. One that may be made, and I don't think he was in the injury report, and I double checked, but Travis Boak looked a little bit half a step behind last week, and that hurts me to say. But I just feel like he was half a step behind, then hurt his finger. He had a good few moments, but I think he's one to watch in terms of selection. And he might say, all right, I need a week for my finger or two. So one to watch, I think, for selection for that. Other than that, I wouldn't make any changes. Tommy Cochran had a good game. The SANFL boys played really, really well over the weekend. Joe Berry was good. I saw Finlayson had an okay game. Again, his attitude was questioned by some fans. So, but other than that, I think Joe Berry, Logan Evans, they're pushing for selection, but another week in the twos wouldn't be too bad. And I think going in on change this week would be something I predict. I wouldn't make too many changes at all. That's something for you guys to let me know in the comments below. That's it for this week for Port. I obviously think we'll win. This is actually the first game I have a feeling that we'll win and win okay. Last week I had a feeling we'd beat the Swans. The week before I had a feeling we beat the Hawks. So my feelings have been on lately, which is good. So I think we'll win by 25 points. I don't think it'll be a pumping. I think home ground, big occasion, stand up, special moment. We're all going to be there, big crowd. Port win, they get the job done. Just keep ticking the boxes. You just keep ticking those boxes. And if you can showcase a blueprint in matches like these where, the team that's struggling will probably try and make it ugly, and I expect North to make it ugly. It's going to be nice weather, 21 degrees and sunny. If you can win these games and just show us a blueprint of what you're trying to do, I want a four-quarter performance is what I really want out of this. And I think if we can get that, then I feel a lot more comfortable. If it's four-quarter performance and we win by 5 goals, then so be it. I'm happy with that. So not too much expectation on this game. Definitely wary that North could come out and absolutely just turn one on and go, hey, the critics suck, and we unfortunately have to be the team that plays them. But I expect to win, and these are the games you should be winning if you're going to be contending this year. Well, Port fans, that wraps up the preview for round 7. Already 7 rounds in. Things are starting to heat up. The things in the AFL are starting to kick into gear, and I look forward to seeing how it all pans out for Anzac round this week, a special occasion. I can't wait to get there and see you all on Saturday. Make sure you subscribe to the channel if you're new for plenty more Port Adelaide and AFL content to come your way. The Glass Table, new episode is out. Pears on a Pod out tomorrow as well. Thank you so much for watching. My name's Anthony, and as always, come Pear.